Hello everybody, welcome back to the Malbeefance channel. Here is episode 3 in our series replay for Strategic Command World War II War in Europe. Everything is really just getting started. Excuse me. Everything is really just getting started. The Germans have attacked Poland. Amazingly, Poland is holding out, but I have a feeling if they last one more turn, I'll be surprised. Now, as far as the rest of the Allies are concerned, obviously the Soviet Union is not involved in the fighting yet. France is building up its defensive line. Britain's trying to get mobilized. I have a feeling that's going to be the pattern for the next couple of turns. Having never played the Allies before in this particular version of the game, not sure, but that's what it looks like to me. I'm just going to have to surrender the initiative to the computer access player and see where it goes. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's go ahead and advance a turn, see what we get. All right, for decision for France, there are tens of thousands of Spanish Republicans living in internment camps in the south of France. For those of you that are unaware of the history, Spain had a civil war right before World War II started, and the Republicans lost to the socialists. They didn't call themselves socialists, they called themselves something else, but Franco's faction, they might as well have been socialists. So Franco got support from the Nazis and the fascists in Italy, and it was instrumental in helping him defeat the Republican forces in Spain. So a lot of them escaped into France, and so here is the decision. Basically, what this is saying is, if I want to, France can build a half-strength engineer unit out of these refugees, and so that way they can help with the defense of France. Okay, and so yeah, I want to do that. Need all the help I can get. This is Germany we're fighting. All right, Soviet scientists report progress in industrial technology up to 35%. There is our ledger for the up-and-coming turn. All right, so it looks like we may have some naval activity going on off of Norway after all. And serious push on Warsaw. Oh, they're really going after it. And that's it for the Polish Air Force. Well, it doesn't look like they had enough to take Warsaw. Oh, you're wrong. Yep. Oh no, he didn't attack Warsaw. Jeez. Okay. Is the computer deliberately trying to wipe out every last Polish unit? That's kind of spiteful. Germany honors the German-Soviet non-aggression pact. For those of you that are unaware, if you are playing as the German player, you do have the, what's this? Modlin Army surrenders and Poland surrenders. Okay. Germany plunders 352 production points. Germany occupies Western Poland, and USSR occupies Eastern Poland. So yeah, there is a decision where the Germans do not have to honor the treaty with Russia. USSR transfers some territory from Poland to Lithuania. Allied raiders disrupt Norway, Germany convoys. All right, there's your combat losses for last turn. Pretty much all of the remaining Polish army. And your military summary, activity summary. So we're doing some decent. I wonder if there's any supply getting through from Norway. Not that it matters. Germany generates a ton of production points on their own. Okay, so the USSR Stavka report. Red Army deployment in a future conflict. So Marshal Stalin and the Stavka have directed that should we be attacked, military and naval forces will deploy at the following locations. Okay. So I guess these are freebies. They're scripted reinforcements. The Assiniboine destroyer deploys at Halifax in Canada. And I guess that's going to be it for reinforcements. All right, well, obviously, I don't have to worry about Polish forces. All right, so let's go ahead and see what we can do about that German ship we saw up here. All right, who do we got? The Deutschland. Wow, that's a lot of anti-aircraft defense there. All right, so we'll have Glorious clear datum. So Renown's a battle cruiser, Nelson's a battleship. And they're only going to do 2? They actually only did 1. Okay, there we go. Renown makes up the difference. Does 3 points of damage. All right, and Glasgow seals the deal. Hopefully I don't get in too much trouble with the Norwegians. Get that Polish destroyer reinforced. All right, anything else I can do with British forces out here? Got to get that headquarters up to full strength. Same thing with the French one. Now, I've been doing a lot of reinforcing of French forces along the German border because I was expecting a blitz. So, and I mean, it's probably still coming, but just in case, I do need to get some, improve my defenses down here along the French-Italian border. I think that does, yeah, France has only got 2 production points left. Can I do anything? No. I'd like to get this carrier out of here. The Ark Royal. All right, I'm going to take a chance. Give her a little bit of an escort. All right, I don't want too many naval forces that close to Italy. They're going to enter the war sooner or later. but I'd like to make that as later as possible. Keep these 3 French ships together as a kind of a task force. So I'm going to keep this force sitting here until we actually pick up any German submarine reports, and then we'll have them move into action. All right, so let me have a look at production, see what's going on there. Not that I can do anything for France, but I just want to see what they got coming along with everybody else. So the Russians have got a bunch of stuff coming, but it's spread out. So there's not a lot coming in 1940. Britain's stuff is mid-1940, end of 1940. These guys are end of 1939, a couple of destroyers. All right, so let me have a look at research again real quick. I can already feel it. I'm going to wind up not spending a lot of money on diplomacy, and I'm sure there's going to be some folks out there that are going to they're going to hate on me for that. All right, so I want to try and get more into France. All right, so I can't get them improved too much, but let's get them in the pipeline. Now the Americans, I definitely need to get them industrial technology. I mean, they're going to become a powerhouse anyway, but still. So I'm going to bank that 173. That way next turn I can go ahead and I can pay for their industrial technology research. Oh, nuts. I forgot the Soviet Union. All right, so anything over here, aerial warfare, they could definitely use better fighters. Actually, what that does is it improves their combat tactics, but at the end of the day, it's still better fighters, just better pilots. All right, so that's going to take care of the turn. I don't think I've forgotten anything. Yeah, I'm leaving that battleship in there just in case. Go ahead and reposition the destroyer. That opens up the port for this guy. All right, now, is there anything I can do with convoys? Nope, doesn't look like it. Hey, at least I remembered this time. Usually it's like 3-4 turns of the computer telling me, hey, guess what? You forgot to send supplies to an ally before I remember to do it. All right, let's go ahead and advance a turn, see what happens. All right, French morale suffers from the fall of Poland. Germany celebrates victory over Poland and the return of Danzig. Yeah, Danzig used to be a Prussian city until the end of World War I. And the rest of Europe has been on a let's hate Prussia crush for like 250 years. You know, go ahead and study the history of that country, okay, and watch how all the other nations of Europe are so terrified of Prussia that they actually eventually erase it from the map. All right, so decision for Poland. Although the enemy has occupied our country, they have not broken our fighting spirit. Thousands of our soldiers have escaped to neutral countries, and thousands more are returning to their homes to form an underground army. Question facing us now is whether those of our men who have escaped abroad should make their way to Britain or France. Whichever country we head for, we hope to obtain that government's approval to form our own armed forces there. Would you like to order our soldiers to head for Britain? Yes. Or France? No. Yeah, no. If anybody knows the history of what happened to these men, you will know that this is a difficult decision. You're going to want to send them to France because England is going to betray them hard. But if you send them to France, there's the possibility that they'll wind up not getting a chance to do anything because the Germans will overrun France. All right, I want to see what the notes say. If you say yes and Britain approval, and with Britain approval, we will then have the opportunity of Polish Corps in UK. However, if you say no, then we may have the opportunity of Polish Corps in Paris. It will be best to say yes if you think that strengthening Britain's armed forces is a greater priority. Given the historic ties between France and Poland, it would be only natural for thousands of Poles to have escaped Nazi onslaught to head to France. All right, well, I am going to be optimistic, and I'm going to say that we're going to keep France in the war. We're going to avoid German conquest of France, so I'm going to have them go there. All right, France increases industrial mobilization for the war effort. Thank you. USSR invades Poland. Soviet aggression against Finland causes widespread anger in the West. No doubt. American scientists report progress in aerial warfare up to 49%. And there is our ledger for the up-and-coming turn. Looks like winter hit Switzerland. All right, computer is thinking. It's representation of thinking. And here they come. Computer's going to have to spend a lot of production points to move the German army from Poland over to the Western Front. USSR is expelled from the League of Nations following its attack on Finland. Yeah, that like really terrified them. League of Nations was freaking useless from the get-go, so. Graf Spee scuttled following the Battle of the River Plate. Yeah, good for the Allies, bad for the Germans. Personally, I think I think Spee could have actually won that battle against Ajax and the other two. But hey, I wasn't there. Captain's he was there at the time. He made the best call that he could, given the information he had. All right, so there's our military activity summary. Red Army Headquarters, German Foreign Minister has sent us a proposal to revise some aspects of the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. The main item is that the Germans offer to transfer Lithuania from their sphere of influence to ours. This would enable us to occupy the country next year. In return, they ask us to withdraw eastwards from the Vistula to the Bug River in Poland. This would leave the fortress of Brest-Litovsk more vulnerable to attack. If we say yes, then this further sign of our friendship with the Axis will move the USSR 5% away from the Allies. In view of this, would you like to accept this revised border of friendship? Well, it does give us Lithuania. And I am playing the Soviet Union, and they're definitely not the good guys, even though they wind up fighting with the good guys. Saying yes to this will enable us to occupy Lithuania, as mentioned earlier, in the coming year, which would increase our income and keep the Axis starting point for an invasion as far away from Leningrad as... Okay, there's my reason. Okay, there's my solid reason for saying yes. Keep them away from Leningrad. I can live without Brest-Litovsk. Losing Leningrad? No, I don't want to do that. Okay, so we pull back from the Vistula River to the Bug River. I wonder how it got the name Bug River. Well, the picture in my head is just like a billion mosquitoes from one end to the other. All right, so I guess that's it. It is now the Allies' turn, my turn. All right, so we got to get Glorious back into port so she can repair. Hey, these guys only have 1 point of damage, so I can keep them out there. But what's their supply? Their supply's getting low, so... Don't like the idea of bringing everybody in, but... Oh, good heavens. Oh, what the heck, everybody else is in port. Have the lone Polish destroyer hold the line. Alright, so these guys are not... Tell you what. Let's swap them out. That way I've got my heavies up front. Same thing there. Get these 2 corps up to full strength, and then I'll have them come down here to guard the Sedan, guard the Ardennes. All right, how we doing down here? Not great. If I don't have enough to reinforce the infantry units, I definitely don't have enough to finish mobilizing that battleship. It's his area. All right, he's going to need to be closer to the front line. I was hoping to leave him on Paris, and he would be close enough to be able to do command support for all the British forces, but it doesn't look like it's going to be that way. So now once again, I'm going to anticipate a German onslaught through the Ardennes, so I'm going to try and focus what I can in that area. All right, anything else I want? Oh, yeah. The Cinnabon. What is it again? A Cinnaboan? Forget it. I'm calling it Cinnabon. I'm debating taking the French Navy and seeing how close I can get to the German coast. See if there's anything I can do there with that. so Ark Royal and her escort are out into the Atlantic. And there's really nothing I want to do with Soviet forces. I mean, it looks like the whole winter war is going to be scripted. So I guess moving all these guys up here was kind of pointless. I was actually kind of looking forward to being able to fight that. See if I could do better than historical, you know? Oh well. C'est la guerre. Alright, so let's have a look at research for the UK and the US. Alright, so I probably should overspend on industrial technology, but I want to get other things started as well. So command and control, definitely. And we already got infantry weapons going. So armored warfare. And I think, yep, that's going to do it. All right, so United States industrial technology. What's that going to leave? This is only going to leave 50, so we'll bank that. Russians only got 48 left. So let that build up. All right. Okay, so that is going to do it for this turn. Let's go ahead and run one more turn. I ran a short episode last time. I'll go one more turn here. So December 19th, 1939. So this ought to take us into 1940. All right, Axis raiders disrupt Canada, UK convoys. There. Okay, so that is our first indication of German naval forces out there on the water interdicting supply. British scientists report infantry weapons development up to 58%. Cool. More than halfway there. Soviet scientists advance fighter development up to 62%. And the ledger for the up and coming turn. All right, computer's doing all of its thinking. Or thinning, as a fellow snout-nosed character would say. France continues to increase industrial mobilization. Good plan. USSR steps up its military production. Another good plan. France raises a unit of engineers to improve fortifications. That'll be those Spanish Republicans. German paratroopers deploy at Hamburg. So I think the computer deployed them early. Foreign minister reports diplomatic success. Spain up to 21% for the Axis. Not good. Allies disrupt German convoys. There's going to be that lone Polish destroyer. Actually, I think it represents a whole squadron of destroyers, not just one. All right, so decision for France. Thousands of Polish soldiers who have escaped from Poland are arriving in France that wish to carry on the struggle against Germany. Just as we formed a Polish army in France in 1918, the new Polish Prime Minister, I ain't even going to attempt that name, Sikorsky, asks that we do the same again today. He therefore asks permission to form a Polish First Corps on French soil. It's going to cost 50 production points for 2 turns, 25 per turn. May be formed at Le Mans. Yeah, let's do that. Polish First Corps formed in France. Yay, team. All right, another one for France. General Wagen proposes that together with the British, we send a military expedition to Finland to enable them to resist the Red Army. If we do assist the Finns, the British will be obliged to follow suit, as British public opinion and their first Sea Lord, Winston Churchill, are strongly in favor of doing so. For the measly, cheap cost of 150 production points to be shared evenly between Britain and France, okay, well, that ain't so bad. If it's shared, this support could halt Soviet dictators' aggression. However, given the logistics involved in the mission, there is only a 50% chance of success. So yeah, so I was like, okay, so let's go ahead and spend 150 production points on a 50-50 chance that we will be able to help Finland out. What the heck? Let's go for it. All right, so here's those two destroyers that I was looking at production earlier. All right, so the Bulldog deploys at Glasgow, and the Amazon deploys over at Rosyth. Now France gets the Jaguar, deploys at Casablanca, and Dunkirk deploys at Brest. Awesome. Powerful warship there. All right. So I got I got these two guys. Oh, you can't make it all the way down. Can I operate him? That gets him there. Okay. I probably didn't have to spend the money, but... All right, finish mobilizing the Air Force. I've been sitting on that since the start of the game. Move the French fighters to cover the Rhine, and the British fighters will cover Belgium. Need to get him a little further south. All right, can we get the engineers up to full speed? Nope. In that case, I can't do that either. All right, let's do something useful. Can't get him all the way to 10, but I was able to get him to 9. Well, if nothing else, I can start heading them north. Same thing with the poles. Get them moving. A little bit of a defense in depth here. At least that's what I'm trying for. Get him on the road and rail line so he can move a little bit easier. All right, so where's that leave us? Go ahead and resupply and reinforce. British Navy. That's an upgrade. Do I have anything? Can I upgrade cruisers? Yes, I can. Oh, what do you know? Naval weaponry and air defense. All right. I did not realize that was available. All right, so I'll go ahead and do that, do those upgrades. Can I get him to a port? Nope, he's going to have to wait for a slip to open up. So does that mean I can update? Okay, there's that enemy. Okay. Nobody can reach him. So since these destroyers can't get at him to attack this turn, I'll go ahead and upgrade them. Start having this task force head in that direction. Now I'm diverting the French vessels for that German coastal operation. Because I can replace the French destroyer with the Bulldog, HMS Bulldog. All right, so don't let me forget. Next turn, I got to finish mobilizing the French Navy, and I can go ahead and I can have these two swing around and help support the rest of the French Navy. All right, anything else that I want to spend on units? You know, now it's got me thinking. Do I have any U.S. naval forces out? No, I do not. Let's go ahead. Wait a minute, what can I upgrade? It said I could upgrade something. I can upgrade the army to what? Mobility. Mobility is usually, yeah, mobility is expensive. So let's get it now. All right. So France and America have spent all of their production points. Britain still got over 150 left, but I don't think I have anything out on the board that I can use it for. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. So yeah, until I can get Nelson into port, she's going to have to wait for her upgrade. And move him just to be safe. I know moving him closer to Germany didn't exactly improve his safety. Nothing I can do with the Russians. So just allow that to build up. So that's going to leave research and development for the UK. And infantry warfare is going to be our big ticket item this turn. That's only going to leave 10. All right, so that is going to do it. I'm going to bank the 64 that the Russians have left. I'm going to bank that. And then obviously I can't do anything with the remainder for the other three here. All right. Okay, so that's going to do it for this turn. And that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you all very much. Sorry, not a lot going on. We did sink the Deutschland before they had the chance to rename it Lutzow. Not a lot going on. I guess we've entered the Sitzkrieg portion of the war, so we'll see what happens in the coming turns. All right, so thanks a lot. If you've made it this far and I haven't bored you to tears, go ahead and drop a like, leave a comment if you would. For those of you that are more knowledgeable of playing the allies in this version, go ahead and give me some of your thoughts on tactics and strategy. I'd be happy to hear them. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Doesn't cost you anything, helps grow the channel. Who knows? Maybe in about 10, 15 years, I may have enough followers to where monetizing this would actually be worth it. Um, and then share this with somebody that you think might like the content. All right. So thanks again, and I will see you on the next one.